Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. We'll be back with you soon. Good morning, everybody. Give me just one more minute and we will get started. All right. See you soon. All right, team. Good morning. Welcome. Glad to be with you today. I am excited to be your instructor for day one of Ignite, one of my favorite courses. It's a kind of one of our foundational courses within Keller Williams. Ignite is really kind of the starting point to really blast off in your career. Anyone that's doing less than like 14 transactions a year is the perfect candidate for this course, because we really talk about building the foundation of Ignite and Spark. So I'll go into more details in a little bit with that. So good morning and welcome. I am Nick Resendez, and I am your real estate broker for all three of our offices. We're doing a combined Keller Williams Pacific Estates 3-office Ignite course with our Long Beach, La Mirada, and Cerritos offices. I'm the broker for all three of those, and I'm the productivity coach in Long Beach. On Thursday, Eddie Habash in Cerritos will be leading the Cerritos Day, and Friday will be La Mirada's Day, where the team leader, Rob Ross, will step in and teach that along with some of the ALC there. So, just give you a little background on me. I've been licensed for 21 years. Got started a couple years even before that. Just doing some administrative work. I was going to Cal State Long Beach, and I got a part-time job answering the phones at a local Century 21 office. And I would come in the evenings after school and answer phones and do admin. They call me Nick at Night because I would come in the nighttime. So yeah, before that, I was making smoothies at Jamba Juice. And 21 years later plus, here I am, a coach and mentor for many of our agents. And I was in production for the first 8 or 10 years of my career, moved into leadership, taught the real estate school, managed, recruited, and coached and trained for the better part of the last decade or so. So that's me. Glad to have you here. I'm excited to be with you. Today is called Spark 1, and it is called Fuel Your Career. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go into our chat and I'm going to upload the PDF of this course. So you can download that if you don't have it already. The day before, by the way, we start our classes, I put these in our 3 Facebook groups, Spring Street Town Center and Firestone. So you'll always be able to get them the night before there, and then we'll always drop them into the chat here as well. And I'm going to show you real quick how you can go get this stuff all on your own by going to kwconnect.com. So let me show you a different screen real quickly here. And I'm going to go over to my other browser. Okay, so this is kwconnect.com. So you all have access to this once you get your Keller Williams logins. I love highlighted right here, the Vision Revisited. This is a great video that you guys should all watch if you haven't watched the Vision speech by Gary Keller, where he breaks down kind of the bigger picture of what's happening in the real estate industry and then the economy as well. But inside KW Connect, there is a ton of training and resources. Under the resources tab is KWU, Keller Williams University. And all of our trainings are located right in here. In fact, you can see right on the home screen here, Ignite, and we're doing the 2.0 lab version. This is a newly updated version of Ignite. And if you click on that, you can actually get to participant resources. And this is where all the courses are, right? So you can download the manuals right by all on your own, by yourself. All 20 of the courses are all, actually we're doing 18. The market center specifics we're not going to do. We do those at different times within each market center, okay? There is also the Ignite Toolkit, which is a link to some resources and other documents, PDFs. This will download a file to your computer. The files themselves, as we need them, I'll upload them into our chat so you guys can grab those as needed. But otherwise, that's where you will find the toolkit when it's referenced inside the manual, okay? So let's jump into our day here. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. All right, cool. All right, perfect. Let's get started. All right, very good. Move a few screens around. And, I want this to be interactive, folks. So I will be calling you guys out from time to time and asking you to participate and, just answer some questions, and be involved in the group discussion. So with that said, let's get into it. So, Ignite is a little over a month. It's going to be a 6 weeks training program, 3 days a week, 18 sessions, and it's designed to equip all of you as our participants with the essentials to build a successful real estate business. It's split up into 2 portions. We have Spark and we have Elementals. So the first 9 courses will be Spark. And our goal for Spark is to make sure that you are able to generate an appointment with a buyer and or a seller right away. Okay. And you'll work on this goal every day because your homework assignments at the end of the day is to do your lead generation, update your database, practice your scripts, and contact prospective clients. So we will look at the core activities and habits that you're going to use your entire real estate career. We're going to follow up with you guys on your activities by plugging in and seeing what you've applied since the previous class. And with that said, I will remind you that there's a saying that knowledge is power. And I challenge that because I believe that applied knowledge is power. Doing something with the things that you learn is where your power comes from. Okay. So we want to make sure that you are executing, not just learning for the sake of learning. We are learning for the sake of doing. Okay. So first question that I'm going to ask, and I want you all to take a couple of notes about this. Why did you want to become a real estate agent? What were your hopes and your goals? Okay, so everybody take maybe 2-3 minutes here, and I want you to just write down, why did you become a real estate agent, and what were your hopes and your goals? And then be prepared to unmute yourself because I'm just going to start calling names out, asking you to contribute. So go ahead and take a couple notes quickly. Can anyone see the manual uploaded into the chat? Are you guys able to see that? Anyone gonna give me a yes?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you all. I will throw it in there one more time. Sometimes if you joined a minute afterwards, it doesn't upload, but boom, there we go. I just put it in there again. Okay, so volunteer or victim? Who wants to unmute themselves before I start calling people out? Why did you become a real estate agent? Why did you become an agent? Who's first? Who wants to share?
I'll begin.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Nick. I have three reasons. One is that I come into this already with a sales background from another industry. Two, I see it as, for practical purposes, unlimited potential. So the more you put in, the better you put in. The ceiling is rather high, and I think it's theoretically unlimited. And then three, also flexibility that's great. So combination of those, you can sort of sculpt it to your lifestyle.
There you go. I love that. I love that. So unlimited earning potential and flexibility. Those are some great reasons. Plus you got the sales background already, which will be a big benefit for you. So that's fantastic. All right. Who's next? Who's next? Give me, we're going to do 3 people. So who wants to unmute themselves before I start calling people out? Don't be shy. The more you participate, the more involved and the more you learn.
I'll go.
Okay.
My name is Haley White.
Hi. Hi, Haley.
I was similar with the same flexibility and unlimited potential. As much as I put into it, I can get out.
Yes.
It's just a way to provide for my family that allows me to still be involved with my children.
Yep. Yep. I love it. I love it. You know, we often say that the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. So family is obviously way up there. So that's fantastic. Okay, one more. Who's next? Who's going to be our third participant? Don't be shy, folks. I got all day.
I guess there's a common theme because mine was the same thing, unlimited potential. It's much better than being in the corporate world where, there is always a ceiling. And in addition to that, when I went through the home buying process, I appreciated having I should say, I wish I had a realtor that was more, that helped me better through the process. They weren't able to answer most of my questions. So I want to be able to help buyers in that way as well.
Love it. Absolutely. Yeah. When you get, I've talked to a lot of agents that get into the business when they see how maybe not so great their agent was, and they needed to, decide that I'm going to do better. I'm going into this business and I'm going to provide a better experience. So I love that. I hear a lot of times that people get into real estate because they can make a lot of money. They can have all the free time they want and they don't have a boss, right? And so the second two, you get the day you get your license. You have flexibility and you don't have a boss. The making a lot of money part is more elusive, right? So with that said, making a lot of money is potential, certainly. And I don't want to ever scare you guys away from real estate, but you do need to understand that 80 to 85% of agents that are brand new are out of the business within their first 18 months. Okay, so there is a big learning curve. Not everybody's going to make it, but if you really invest and execute and apply the things that we talk about in courses like Ignite, then you are going to be way more likely to be in the 15% of agents that are going to excel and make tremendous amounts of money. We have agents in some of our offices that are earning over $1 million a year in commissions, and across our company nationally, there are many that are earning $4 to $5 million a year. So certainly the potential is absolutely available to you. So thank you all for participating and sharing. And if you can't see the manual, ladies and gentlemen, remember you can go to KW Connect, or it's in our Facebook groups. I can't email them out right now, but I can do that later on. If you just shoot me a text or send me an email, I'll get that out to you. So, it's important to establish, your mindset and your goals from the very beginning. So even jobs you love have moments where you'll struggle to find motivation. And I always say that there are going to be those days that suck, right? And so during Ignite, you'll learn a lot about the ins and outs of how to find and keep business. And you'll learn everything you need to do to make a deal. And the more connected you are with what you want to do with your success, the more you'll find that success. We talk about our big why quite a bit. In future classes, we're going to help you get a little deeper into understanding what your big why is. Usually it's through success through other people, your family, things that you want to contribute to, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk quite a bit about that, thinking about, what are you going to do for the people you care about? What charities would you support? How would you make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better through achieving high levels of success in the real estate business? So with that said, I want to introduce you to a topic called a limiting belief. A limiting belief. So a limiting belief is a way of thinking that will hold you back from success. And as you all, as participants, go through Ignite, you may catch yourself thinking things like, oh, I don't know, I don't have time to devote 3 hours a day to lead generation, or I don't know how to sell a house, therefore I can't get started yet. Okay, these are limiting belief thought processes that many new agents have in their minds because you just don't know what you don't know yet. And Henry Ford has a famous quote that says, if you think you can do a thing or you think you can't do a thing, you are right. Okay, so we're going to dispel limiting beliefs as we move through much of our course material. Henry Ford knew that your mindset is one of the factors that determines your success. In fact, we say that your mindset is 90% of your success in this business. The other 10% will be, your skills, right? So it's more about your belief that you can make it in this business that will allow you to, adopt, practice, learn scripting, and reach out to people and build a big database. Okay, so as you go through Ignite, I want you to be thinking and looking for ways that you're limiting your own success and work to remove the barriers you're putting in your own way. In fact, we want to discuss a lot of that stuff in our courses. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's going on, the challenges, the things that may be holding you back, right? And then once we can dispel some of those myths, then we can get connected more to your goals, your big why, and as Gary Keller says, to push through and achieve, right? Push through and achieve your goals. So I'm going to get into page 4 of your manual, and here's where we talk about what successful agents do every day. So take a look on page 4 and you'll see this material. So here's the secret to being a successful real estate agent. There is no secret. Success leaves clues. So we know exactly what successful agents do every day. Success leaves clues. What that means is there's no need to reinvent. We look and see what other successful people and real estate agents have done, and we can mirror and match. We don't necessarily need to copy exactly, but we can certainly draw on the fundamentals, okay? So we know that every day agents do 2 types of activities. They grow their business and they run their business. These are the activities that will help you achieve your big why. Every time you do any of them, know that you're doing it to achieve the life that you want, okay? So if you look at the activities on the slide, I want you to think of this. You can't do what's on the right side without doing what's on the left side, okay? We can't market listings or show buyers or negotiate contracts if we're not lead generating, if we're not going on presentations, booking appointments, and even included in that, looking at a lot of homes to be really familiar with our real estate market, okay? So that being said, I just want to say it again because we're going to look at this slide every session. Successful agents grow their business first. They run their business second, okay? In fact, we train around, doing your lead generation and all of your growing the business activities first thing in the morning, and then filling the day in with everything else on the right-hand side, your appointments or your marketing, your showings, your TC work, your administrative stuff, because what's on the left pays you many hundreds of dollars an hour. What's on the right pays you essentially minimum wage in many instances, okay? So There is no secret, and we're going to really dig deep into all of these principles. So let's take a look at what our Spark course is going to look like, or Spark 1 will look like. So we're going to talk about what is Spark in a moment. We're going to look at starting with our sphere today. We're going to look at where to get access to tools. We're going to prepare for success. Then we're going to recap and talk about ahas. And I'll introduce you to our daily success habits as well. So welcome. We are going to hopefully listen to Gary Keller here.
I am Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on.
Can everybody hear the video?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh, and there I went right past it.
It's breaking up though.
Okay, let me give it another shot here.
I am Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, you have an awesome first year. And just as important, you would have built the foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. And it's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort, a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their number one priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want and deserve. Go get them, and good luck.
All right, thank you, GK. So, just a personal little note. In my experience, working for different brokerages, some of the bigger, franchises, and also smaller boutiques, what I have found is that your typical real estate company, the broker or the manager, probably sold at some point in their career, and they trained their agents on what they did to be successful. And the thing that I think that sets KW apart is, Gary and Jay Papasan and a few others, when they were building Keller Williams 30 plus years ago or so, they went around the country and they interviewed all of the agents they could find that were netting $1 million a year in the business. And they created systems and models around that. And then the agents were able to put their riffs and their spin on the foundation and the models. So it was very purposeful and thought out to apply to all agents, not just the one, broker manager that did things that they, found to be successful for themselves. And all that became the basis for the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And from MREA spawned all of these other courses that we have, such as Ignite that we're looking at today. So with that said, make sure if you do not have a copy of the MREA book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the Red Book, the book, that's what we call it, please make sure that you have a copy and be reading that. If you're not a big avid reader, just set a goal, 10 to 15 pages a day. Many of you will devour the whole thing in a week or two, okay? But it's a manual. I have one by my side almost all the time because, we don't try to make things up and do things that we feel are the best thing to do based on our personal beliefs. We do it based on the models that we know work every time, okay? So the other thing, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Many times I'm going to ask you a question. And if you stop paying attention, doze off from the class, and you come to and there's a question being asked, the answer is probably lead generation, okay? You're going to hear us say that a lot, lead generation. You can't sell houses without leads. That's the bottom line. Why do most agents not make it in the business? They don't generate business. They don't go out and find new business. Many of the agents that don't make it do what we call lead receiving. They just wait for people to call them to buy or sell a house. And I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to build a business if you're waiting for people to contact you. We have to be going out and getting after the business. Okay. In fact, I think our next slide here.
I am.
Oh, we don't need to see here again. There we go. Nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of the leads that you have. Okay, so important, so crucial. You guys are going to get sick of hearing me say it, but lead generation is always the answer. Okay. All right, let's take a look and see what our little course is going to look like here when we go through Ignite, Spark, Elementals, and then we add the daily success habits. So Ignite is 6 weeks. You're going to learn the foundations for success. We're going to talk about daily habits later on today. These are the things that successful agents do every day, including lead gen. And the first half is called Spark. Spark is your incubator for success, where you will learn how to set a successful mindset, lead generate, get the confidence of a seller or buyer in your first appointment. After learning these foundations and developing some successful client relationships in Spark, we'll move into the Elementals phase. And that's where we learn the skills to take those appointments and turn them into a successful closing. So we are literally going to talk about every piece of the real estate business, not just lead gen, but contract to close, marketing, prospecting, everything in between. Okay. So first and foremost, I want you to understand that according to the National Association of Realtors, 2 out of 3 sellers and almost half of buyers find an agent through a referral from a friend or family member. Okay. So here is your first little assignment. I want all of you to open your cell phones, open your phones, and I want you to go into the contacts section of your phones, and I want you to scroll all the way to the bottom of your contacts. And at the bottom, it's going to show you the total number of people that you have in your phone. And I want you to type that number into the chat right now. Let's go. Let's do this quickly, everybody. Okay, good. Here we go. 100, 384, 379, 297. I love this. We hear that on average, people know about 300 people or so. Ooh, Andrea, doubling it up. TL Rob Ross, 2,300 people. Andrea, I don't think I know 70% of those people. Yeah, I usually say that probably about a half of the people in your phone are just random contacts, maybe, old plumbers or vendors or who knows what, dog walkers, So yeah, I totally get that for sure. But let's do this just for fun. Take your number and multiply it times 6%. Okay, take your number, multiply it times 6%, and then drop what that number is in the chat next. And I'll tell you what that means in a second. So take your number, multiply times 6%, 0.06, and go ahead and put that number right now. All right, 23, thank you. 43.5, love it. Keep them coming. Alpha, thank you very much. Who's next? We only got 3 people. There's 20 on here. Let's keep going, everybody. Everybody, please type your numbers in here. Thank you, Ms. C. All right, very good. Love it. 20s. So what does this number represent? Well, on average, this represents the number of real estate actions that will happen within the next 12 months within your sphere of influence. That could be a purchase, that could be a sale, a listing, that could be an investment, that could be a rental. That's how many people are essentially going to do some sort of a real estate action on average, knowing the numbers from our models and the research that Keller Williams has done. So that is your number. If you take that number, assuming these are purchases, sales, or investments, and not the rental side of things, if you take that number and multiply it times about 15,000 bucks, which is right around our average commission amongst the 3 market centers, you can see the potential that is available to you right within your sphere of influence right now. Okay. Obviously, that's going to put you guys well into the 6 figures. Okay. So again, with that said, right now in your database, there are people that will buy, sell, refer, invest real estate to you. Okay. So for every 6 out of 100, that's what your number is going to look like. All right. So with that said, it all starts with our sphere of influence. I know I've spoken to a lot of you about this, but when we start building our database, it makes sense to start with our SOI, our sphere of influence. And we're going to define the sphere, and we're going to talk about what it looks like to practice or reach out to your sphere of influence. Okay. So your sphere, people you have met in one way, shape, or form. In the MREA book, we talk about Mets versus haven't mets, right? The Met group is people we've met in some capacity, in person, on social, wherever that may be. This could be friends, family members, people you went to school with, people that you share common interests and hobbies with, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the people you've met. They already know, trust, and respect you. Therefore, they're likely to be willing to help you. And because, after all, people like to do business with those they know, trust, and respect, right? I think you would all agree. Wouldn't you rather do business with somebody that you know, trust, and respect? Of course. You've established reciprocal communication with the people in your sphere of influence. Now, some people you have stronger relationships with than others, okay? So your goal really is going to be constantly building relationships stronger, because the stronger the relationship, the more likely they're going to consider you as their real estate agent of choice, or as TL Rob Ross will say, your family's realtor. I want to be your family's realtor. I'm not just here to help you buy or sell a house. The contacts in your phone obviously are a great place to look for people in your SOI. So we know we would prefer to do business with people we know and trust. And then we think about the numbers that we talked about with NAR, 66%. 2 out of 3 sellers are going to work through a referral, and almost half of buyers are going to work through a referral from a friend, neighbor, relative, family member, etc. So here's a question to ponder. Who do you know that is going through a life change? Right? These are people that are getting married, getting divorced, having children, getting a new job, getting a promotion. Who do you know that's going through a life change? And is it possible they might need your assistance? And then I want you to think about this. When is the last time you reached out? It costs nothing to call people you already know. And since you already know them, it requires fewer touches and less effort to get them to want to help you by giving you their business or referring friends and family. People you haven't already met are going to take a lot more time and effort to convince than those you already know. So we have our Mets, we have our haven't mets. The haven't met group of people, which literally is every human on earth you haven't met before. When you designate what your niche is and you start communicating to these people, it takes 6 months, 8 months, a year before they're going to think of you as a real estate agent of choice when they have a referral to give, because you've never even met them. The people you know already, it's a lot easier to earn their business and referral business because you already have that relationship. Okay. So let's see, on page 7 in your manual, I believe there is a quick diagram that is called Defining Your Sphere of Influence. And basically it just shows who these people are, your family, people that you have done business with, or have done business with you. I love this one. In fact, I'm gonna call out on let's see, Navy, who's on here. We spoke last week. She called one of her lenders. She called all of her lenders and said, "I'd like to be your agent of choice." Right? Navy, you want to share that story with us? Are you there? Okay, I'm going to share a story for you. Called lenders, right? Most agents are thinking in their mind, oh, why would a lender refer me business? They have a bunch of agents they already work with, but she called anyways. And the lender called the next day, referred a $1.3 million buyer that I'm showing right now. Okay, so people you've done business with, great people to talk to, right? Contacts that you have generated, going about your normal real estate business, showing property, previewing, et cetera, your friends, the parents of friends or kids, people in your community, et cetera. So there's a lot of, of people you have access to, right? I would add to this things like your, colleges, sorority, fraternity, grad school, whatever that might look like. Any hobbies that you have or interests where you get together with people. These are all the people that you have access to. So it's more than just your friends and family. It's everybody that you possibly can think of that you've met in any capacity. And then we want to build those relationships stronger. So again, who do you know that's going through a life event? And who does not yet know that you're a real estate agent? Who have you not spoken to in the past couple of weeks, right? So these are the people that we want to reach out to. Now, let's understand the waves of our real estate industry, okay? And this is on page 8 of your participant guide, or again, you can see it right here on the screen. So page 8 shows us that there is a cycle, okay? And we know that on average, people move between 8 and 10 years. So we'll call the average around 10 years. So right after someone moves, the likelihood that they will want to move again is at its lowest point, right? That would be, the bottom point of the wave here, or the cycle. And then over time, right, they may begin to be more likely to look at buying, selling, or moving. So, that's a great little crucial piece of information that we should all be striving to know. How long have you lived in your home? That should be in your database. That should be a custom field that you keep track of. So the peaks are the moment people move or buy real estate. And again, the likelihood goes down. Over time, it goes back up, okay? So I want you guys to think about this real quickly. Looking at this wave, I want you to think about your database, and I want you to write down 1 or 2 names and think about who has recently moved that you know. Who do you know that's recently moved? And write their name next to the bottom part of the wave, okay? And then who do you know that's lived where they lived for as long as you can remember? And write their name at the top, right, at the peak versus the trough. And, that should kind of help you dial in the concept around the cycle of people moving. Think about yourself. How long have you lived at your place where you live now, whether you own or rent? How long have you lived there? Do you want to move? Are you likely to move? When might that happen? Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. So I want to ask this question. How would you feel if your friends only called you if they wanted something from you? Does that feel good? Getting solicited, right? Would you feel that they cared about you, right? They really, when we have friends calling to, sign you up for something or sell you something, it doesn't feel very good, right? It doesn't really feel like they're looking out for you. They're just trying to get something from you, right? So that being the case, do you trust people that you think care about you more with your money, right? Do you trust that you think that you care about people, that people care about you about your money, right? We always say that people need to, you need to have a lot of respect for people's time, energy, and their money. So we want to be, a fiduciary in that sense, right? Do you want to talk to the people that are fiduciaries and do business with them? Absolutely, right? So we want to stay top of mind as the realtor of choice consistently. So that way, when they're ready to buy, you're their first call. If they're ready to sell, you're their first call. If you don't talk to people for 8 years after you close a deal with them, why would they call you first when they're ready to move, right? Many agents that have been in the business for a long period of time have stories where they sold a house to a buyer, and then 6, 7, 8 years later down the road, they drive by the house and there's a sign from another agent in the yard. And they get upset thinking, I can't believe they listed with somebody else. But the reality is that agent never stayed in touch, right? So even if a person has just bought or sold a home, you must stay in touch with them, right? Talking to your past clients is huge. And even if you know people and you're new to the business and they bought recently with somebody else because you didn't have your license or whatever, that is okay. That is totally fine. You still need to stay in touch with them. Every person that you have access to matters. They're a referral source. They're going to move again one day, right? I can't remember who I was talking to you last week about this, but my mindset is this. every human I speak to will not live where they live forever. Does that make sense? Every person you know is not going to live where they live forever. Okay. Now, some people will live in their home until they pass away, right? But even then, they will no longer be living there, right? So everybody's going to be out of that house. Your job is to find out, when is that event going to happen? When are they going to move, right? So every person you know is going to not live there at some point, and they are all referral opportunities as well. Okay. All right. So moving into our SOI, don't fear your sphere. I've spoken to many of you, and we have talked about the Ford script. Okay. So what do we use the Ford script for? Well, this is basically your opportunity to have a discussion with people that you've met and people you haven't met, and not just bring up real estate right away, right? This is our opportunity to really ask about them as people and show them that we care. We have a saying in our class, Bold, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay. So frankly, your clients, your friends, your family members, they don't care if you know how to sell a house or not. What they care about is, are you looking out for them? Are you looking out for their best interests? And that's what makes the Ford script so powerful. This is where we are able to reach out, talk to people about their family, talk to people about their occupation, their jobs, their finance, talk to them about their recreation, the things they've been doing for fun, and whatever those big dreams are that they have. And it's, again, a very powerful script because we can use this frequently. If you were to just call all of your sphere and say, hey, do you want to sell a house or buy a house or move anytime in the near future? If you do that every month, people will stop taking your calls. I guarantee you that much, right? So what this does is it enables us to have a normal conversation, and it reminds you to make sure that you touch on all the different aspects of their lives that may be important, right? So, with that said, I don't think any of you would mind if you got a call from somebody that was a former acquaintance you haven't touched bases with in the past, that you haven't touched bases with in quite some time, and they just wanted to touch bases and catch up with you, right? And that's what this conversation is all about. The Ford script. How is the family doing? How's mom and dad? How are the kids? How's your husband? How's your wife? How's brother and sister? What have you been doing for work? How is work going right now? And if there's been nothing positive out of COVID, it is that we have plenty to talk about. These calls are easier than ever right now because we have a ton of things to talk about with a pandemic, right? Let alone many other things that have been happening in our society. So with that said, this is your first mission in real estate, and that is to plug into your sphere of influence. Okay. So for those of you that I'm coaching, we've had this discussion. It's the very first thing that you do. Call everybody you know, run them through the Ford script. Okay. I will give you all a couple little tips. Okay. Where does real estate come up in this conversation? It comes up right here in occupation. Okay. Because you're going to ask how their work is doing. And then they normally, as humans, are going to ask you how you are doing as well. And that's when you talk about real estate. So as you're taking notes, I want you guys to write down a couple of questions. In occupation, you have to ask a couple of questions. Number one, are you working? Are you working? You need to know, are they working right now? Many people have lost jobs, have been laid off, are reduced in their hours, etc. So, how's work? Are you working right now? And then I like to add, are you working from home? Are you working from home? That could be good or bad. We don't know yet because we're going to ask more questions. The third question that I coach on for occupation is this: how is your company doing, or your business, or your industry? And what I'm looking for are these little areas of opportunities or distress. Okay, in our market, in the national economy, we have this thing called the K-shaped economic recovery. And a K has one side going up, one side going down. The side that's going up, those are all the people that that are in essential services, finance, law, medical, right? Warehousing, distribution, are highly employed, teaching. These are all the people that that are fully employed they're working more than ever. They're making more money than ever. Their employment level is lower than the historical averages, meaning they are fully employed. And those are candidates to buy real estate, invest in real estate, move up, do whatever they want to do because they are, making money, right? And then the downside of the K are all the other services in our economy that are not employed right now. And that's going to be things in like hospitality, cruise ship workers, restaurant, bar, hotel, that kind of thing, right? So those people may be in distress. Those people may need to move. They may need to downsize, move in with family. So, a good agent has the ability to have a high level economic conversation with the people that they know. And these are the questions that you ask. How are you doing? Are you working? Are you working from home? How's that going? Wow. Okay, cool. How's your company or your industry? Is it at risk? I want to know, and I want to be hearing like this kind of stuff. So I've told the story to a few of you, but I have a niece who's in retail management for Sephora. And I shared with her all this economic data because I wanted to make sure she is exploring options, and maybe it's time to get out of retail and use her management experience to go to another industry that may not be quite as risk. Because with the pandemic, people are getting used to shopping from home, from online, curbside pickup, and retail. I think slowly is going to be not as big box, and in-person retail is probably going to not be quite as a strong sector of our economy. So, as a friend, family member, and someone that's thinking about her, I was explaining, hey, your industry may be at risk, and if you have ever thought about poking around for another job, this may be the time. You guys need to be able to have these types of conversations with people that you know. They have to be able to trust you with their own money, because that's what a fiduciary is, right? So this is your script. It's simply writing forward on a piece of paper and asking questions in those couple of areas. How's the family? How's your work going? What have you been doing for fun? What are your big plans for this year? Do you think you might do some traveling or anything else, right? Usually they're going to ask you, how are you? And that's your opportunity to talk about real estate. Once they ask you, how are you? What that means for you is that you can bring up real estate. They've given you permission to talk about real estate, okay? And so whether you're new or not, it doesn't matter. You can simply say something like this. I have been pretty lucky through the pandemic. I've been able to go all in on my real estate career. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. And I'm excited about it because I have a passion to help people build wealth in real estate. By the way, would you support me in that vision? Would you support me in that mission that I have to help people build wealth in real estate, right? So when you bring up real estate, you tell them how lucky you are that you're launching into your business, and then you ask for their support. Will you support me in my real estate business? Okay. Of course they're going to say yes. And then you say, great. Will you simply think of me? That's part two. Think of me if you hear of somebody that needs to buy, sell, or invest. And then part three is, can you think of anyone now? That's the 3 steps to asking for referral business. Folks, as you start calling through your sphere, you're gonna hear people say, yes, I'm interested, I wanna buy. I have a friend at work that wants to buy or sell. So we have to be asking these questions, right? Will you support me in real estate? Please keep me in mind. Think of me. Can you think of anyone right now? Okay. Now, the last little piece to this, folks, and I want you to make sure that you write this down. You have 3 goals on your calls. You have 3 goals. Goal number 1, book an appointment. Book an appointment. Goal number 2, generate a referral. Get somebody to send you a referral to buy, sell, or invest. And then goal number 3 is to update the contact information, okay? Update the contact information. When we talk about marketing and getting mind share and making sure that all the people that you know think of you when they think of real estate, we have to be able to drip content out to them through various channels: direct mail, email, social media, phone calls, texts, direct messages, webinars, events, charity drives, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be able to be in front of them at least 36 times a year, if not many, many, many more times than that. So we have to have all of their contact information, right? So minimum would be name, email, phone, and home address. Here's how I ask for that content so I can make sure I can communicate to them. I say, hey, as I mentioned, I got this big vision to help people build wealth. Is that something you might be interested in as well? I thought you might be. Okay. By the way, anyone on this phone, on this Zoom, not interested in building wealth in real estate? I don't think so, right? We're in a pretty lucky industry. We're not selling shoes over here. We're selling something that is the largest wealth builder in the world. Okay. So when you ask somebody, are you interested in that? Are you interested in building wealth in real estate? It's pretty hard to say no to that. Okay. So let's say yes. Cool. Oh, that's great. Let me send you out some information about it from time to time. What's your address? What is your home address? Okay. I always ask for the home address first because it's a little bit harder to have a reason to ask for that. Email is usually more accepted to send out material. So what's your home address? And then when they tell me, then I'll say, great, well, I'm writing it down. What is your email address? Okay. And then we can get them into command, right? Does anyone have any questions about the Ford script? All right. You guys are easy today. Very quiet too, by the way. All right, let's keep going. So, moving beyond the sphere, I want to introduce you to some of the tools and really kind of paint a bigger vision of where real estate is headed. Okay, so on the screen, you can see the basis of the model for Keller Williams as a technology company going forward. For any of you that were in Family Reunion a couple weeks ago, you heard Gary Keller talk a lot about this. If you haven't listened to the vision speech on KW Connect, go in there and listen to it. It's about a little over an hour. The first part of it, though, really digs into where we are, where we're headed, what our competition is doing, and what we're doing to make sure we stay relevant. And I'll tell you this, folks, there is a big push to minimize the role of real estate agents and lower our commissions, okay? And in fact, it's happening already. Companies like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Trulia, OpCity, these guys are all generating leads that they're reselling back to agents. So by having to pay for a lead, it reduces our commission, right? Some of them are monthly expenses. Some of them are referral based, okay? Many of the referral based companies will charge 30 to 35% to send you a lead, okay? And many agents are totally cool paying for it, which means they're agreeing to pay less. And the reason why this exists is because agents don't know or haven't been taught how to generate their own business, okay? And so when you have companies like Zillow and Redfin and even some of our more traditional competitors like Compass, they're trying to create platforms where they capture consumers all across every piece of the real estate journey, from the day they go rent their first property to the day they move out of the rental and buy their property, to getting the property insured and getting title insurance and getting a loan. Everywhere it's moving to have like every piece of the business in a platform or an ecosystem that you'll never need to leave. And what that does, it makes it harder for you guys as individuals to offer that same sort of ecosystem if you're not with the right company. Now, luckily, you're with Keller Williams, and we are the leader in tech, and we are the leader in creating this ecosystem. And so the ecosystem exists on the screen, okay? And I'm gonna walk you through what this is really looking like. Some of this may not make a lot of sense right now, but this is the bigger picture, okay? So we have the vision of KW Tech. The vision is to be the real estate company of choice for agents and consumers. And one of the ways Keller Williams is doing that is by making everything easier for both you as an agent and for your clients, okay? So guys and gals, type in the chat if you are using a cloud service of some sort. What cloud service are you using?
Just type in the chat, whatever comes to mind. Let me know if you can think of something that you're using as a cloud product. There we go, iCloud, perfect. Amazon Music, yep. Amazon Video, Amazon Prime, Google Drive, Google, yep. Right, so we have Dropbox, that's a good one. You know, I don't know who owns Dropbox, I wonder. I can look into that. Google Drive, perfect. So yeah, absolutely. So we're all in a cloud of some sort. That is an ecosystem, right? Apple, Google, Amazon, those are the big three ecosystems. So Keller Williams is creating their own ecosystem around real estate. So basically, if you look right here, we have the Keller Cloud right in the middle, okay? And the cloud stores data, right? Amazon, Apple, Google, they want your data to know your habits, to be able to sell to you more effectively, whatever the product is they want to sell. So we, as a company, are doing the same thing. We've connected every single one of our offices internationally, by the way, which is pretty cool. In fact, yesterday I have a productivity coach group coaching call, and we had a productivity coach on from Turkey. They were online with us midnight their time to give us a presentation, which was pretty phenomenal. So we're gathering data from every agent in every office all across the country, so we can start, inputting consumer information, monitoring consumer habits, and then giving you the information to know when real estate events may be coming up based on their habits, which is kind of cool. So our cloud collects the data. Kelly is our artificial intelligence. You guys know the names of some of the other artificial intelligence or virtual assistants, like the Amazon one and the Apple one. I'm not going to say their names because my whole house is going to start pinging, asking me what do I need right now. But you guys get what I'm talking about, right? So Kelly is our person that analyzes data. And then if you see right in the middle, right, we have you, the agent. You as the agent, virtual agent, or what we call the tech-enabled agent. And you're going to be able to integrate with Command. We're going to look at a little bit of Command today, okay? And Command is going to connect you to Leads accelerators and to KW Connect, which is going to connect you to the office. The Leads will connect you to the consumer, right? So the agent is going to be plugged into office, consumer, and all that data is going to be going back and forth. So we have Command for the market centers that we as leadership use. We have the KW app and your KW website, which you guys all have right now, assuming you have your KW logins. And then we connect to that outside services like Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered Insurance, the iBuyer platform for Keller Offers, and then Keller Management. And then at the bottom here, we have the APIs, which connects other services like Twilio. Command has the ability to make text messages and phone calls and blah, blah, blah. So, again, I'm not going to go too much deeper into this because a lot of it can be very, very confusing. But the bigger point is we've gone beyond just selling houses to our consumers. We have to build a database. We have to build a moat around our database so that way they don't have a need to go anywhere else. Because as soon as one of your clients or one of your friends or family members signs up on Zillow, Zillow's tentacles are going to start creeping and grabbing onto them, or Redfin, right, to check their home value or look at properties. If they're not in your ecosystem, they're in somebody else's, and you may be losing the battle. So we have to build a moat around the database by using the tech and the services that we have, okay? So the main things you're going to use the most are Command and the KW consumer app and website, okay? So through our Ignite course, we're going to look at all the different little pieces of Command and how we use everything. So ultimately, it's an integrated end-to-end Keller Cloud platform. It contains business critical apps for running and growing your business. It's the tool that's going to help you manage your database, cultivate your connections, and take leads from contact to closing. So we're going to look at adding contacts, putting them on smart plans, lead generation through the lead accelerator modules, and so on, okay? So I'm going to fire up Command right now, actually, and we're going to take a look at it for just one moment. I'm going to show you just a couple basics that we want to get into here. So 1 second. And guys and gals, if you have a browser open and you want to follow along, you are welcome to do exactly that. All right, let's see. I use command inside of Google Chrome, and they tell us to use an incognito tab because it doesn't store cookies and things of that nature. Okay, so this was KW Connect. Let me get to command, and here we are. Cool. So this is what your command login looks like. At the very top left, you have a red icon for KW. If you click that, it's going to expand the menu, and these are basically your applets: contacts, tasks and to-dos, smart plans, our referral network, opportunities, which is where you manage your transactions and your clients, campaigns for lead gen, reports, the designs area and workspace, the listings tab, and the consumer tab. Okay. First thing that you all need to do inside of commands: go to your name at the top right, and you are going to go to settings. Go to settings. And then inside of settings, you're going to go to, is it connect settings? Yeah, connect settings on the left, connect settings. And you're looking for marketing profile. Okay, so click your name, go to settings, go to connect settings, and get to marketing profile. So what this is all of your information, your headshot, your logos, right? Your detailed information, your license number, your biography, your phone number, if you have a vanity URL for a website, all that stuff gets filled in here, okay? Once you put it in here in one location, it's gonna fill in everywhere else. It's gonna automatically go onto your app. It's gonna automatically go onto your consumer website. It's gonna automatically populate your ads when you create ads for Facebook, Google, et cetera, okay? So that's step one inside commands. All right, very good. Oh, thank you for Miss C, Dropbox founder, Drew, and Arash. I don't know those names, so I'm interested. You know, the reason why I pondered on that, the CEO of Zillow created Expedia. And if you don't know what Expedia is or how it came into being, this guy, Rich Barton, went into the travel agent industry, okay? And he saw a bunch of inefficiencies and things that were not consumer friendly. And so he created tech to essentially remove travel agents from being relevant, okay? There was a time when every shopping center you would visit, there would be a travel agent's office there to help you book a trip to Hawaii. Now, you go onto Expedia, you book a flight, it's gonna offer you hotels, rental car, experiences, and there's essentially no fees or very, very minimal fees. You don't have to hire somebody to do that. So that's the mindset of the person that owns Zillow and how he is thinking about the real estate agent. So think about that and think about how that applies to you in your career, okay? Getting back.
Nick, so sorry, I missed the part. Where did you get to settings? I'm on it right now and I can't find it.
Right here. Click your name.
Okay.
Click settings. There you go.
Sorry.
No worries. And then on the left, connect settings, marketing profile. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is essentially where you can set up your profile, get all your information built in there. Okay. So that's the first thing that you want to look at. Okay. I'm also going to put into the chat here a website, and it is answers.kw.com. That website, save that in your browser history or create a tab for that. That will give you the ability to search to find out how to do anything within commands. It has videos and written instruction on how to do every single thing you could possibly imagine in commands. Okay. All right. The second thing that I wanted to show you is how to get contacts into your commands. So when I click the little red logo, I'm going to go into my contact section here, right? And you have two different ways to add a contact, okay? We have import and we have add. So add is going to be individual. Import is where you can upload a CSV Excel spreadsheet directly into Command. So most of you that I'm coaching one-on-one, one of the first things we talk about is get your contacts out of your phone using either your cloud backup or the apps like My Contacts Backup to get a CSV file, because then you can just import the entire database. I usually don't tell you to do that though until you have updated it with email addresses and home addresses, okay? But in the meantime, folks, you wanna click on the add contact and go add yourself. For those of you that are following along, put yourself in there right now. Put your name, put your email, scroll down a little bit, and if you want to assign a lead source, you can, you don't have to. But at the bottom, it says add more information. Make sure that you put in the additional contact information, the address. You want to put in your own address, okay? That way you have basically your name, your email, your phone number, and your home address. And when you put the address in, it automatically assigns you to your neighborhood. Command is heavily built around neighborhoods, you know, so we can look at data that's local, specific to each individual person you have in your database, right? You know, we want to create a one-to-one experience. So when somebody goes to your site, you want them to see data about where they live, not just a map centered on the United States, okay? So make sure to get in there, and this is how you add a contact. I wanted to show you that little piece as well, okay? There's a ton of other things that you can do with this. We'll get into in our later content, okay? So again, it goes back to our sphere. We want to get our sphere in immediately. We start with sphere because people want to do business with people they know and trust, and we already have, you know, explicit permission to have a two-way conversation with these people in our sphere, right? And the majority of your business, majority of you in your first year in real estate are going to find business through your sphere of influence. Now, that's why we put people into Command, so we can start dripping on them and creating your brand, your mind share, so people think of you as a real estate agent. Everybody you know today sees you in a specific way. We want to tailor the message to where they see you as a trusted real estate advisor. And we do that by having impressions that we deliver to them in all the different channels we've spoken about: email, text, phone, social media, direct mail, postcards, birthday cards, holiday cards, you know, events, charity, all those types of things, okay? So we have to be able to reach them across all of the channels, and we have to build essentially that that branding, and Command is going to do a big piece of that for you, right? So, you know, I say that because we want people to see your name, your logo, and the words real estate. We see the Amazon logo minimum 1,000 times a year, okay? That's a couple times every single day, right? So with that said, we all know what Amazon does, and it's basically the only place we're going to go to reach out to look for online shopping, right? So we need to become the Amazon of real estate for you guys. All right, let me do another screen share here and get back to our slides. We're getting close to being done for today. We have a little bit of a shorter class today. What I wanted to do. All right, there we go. Okay, we were finishing on KW Tech here. So we just looked at commands. We just talked about our database. We just looked at how to add a contact. I want you all to make sure you're in Command and as a contact yourself, and then we'll start looking at how to assign neighborhoods and also how to you know, start sending the email campaigns out. Okay, your Ignite toolkit. So I showed you all how to get to the toolkit today, assuming you have your KW logins. If you don't, then I will drop these resources in as we start to look at them, okay? But as a reminder, kwconnect.com under the resources tab, you're looking for KWU. You do need to have your login. So some of you that are brand new with us probably don't have those quite yet, but they will come soon enough. Okay. All right. Prepare for success. So these are the modules we're going to look at. So today we talked about fuel your career. Thursday, we're going to look at lead generation as the core of your business. Friday, powerful language that gets results. Then we're going to get into set goals that matter. Then we were going to get into deliver your value proposition, find and win the buyer, find seller leads, a day in the life, and the market center specific will be at each individual market. Okay, so lead gen is going to give you an overview of lead generation and the models, and it's going to help set up the foundation of a successful real estate business. Powerful language gets results is, understanding scripts, and that's really going to be the benefits of using scripting. And then we're going to talk about, database and setting goals that matter, obviously, which is where we talk about your 411 business plan and applying the 80-20 principle. We'll talk about your value proposition and help you define what your unique selling proposition is to a client. We'll talk about finding the buyer, where we'll look at, where buyers come from and how we can take that buyer opportunity and turn it into a closed transaction. We'll talk about the find seller leads, which is where we mirror the buyer session, but focus on the seller side of things. And then a day in the life of a real estate agent, where we really dig into how agents structure their day and create a framework for you to help you meet your goals. Okay, so again, we will jump into all of those things in Spark over the next couple of weeks. Then we will get into elementals. And elementals is simple: prospecting, marketing, open houses, going on the appointments for your sellers, buyer consultations, making offers, collecting offers on the listing side, negotiating your transactions. We'll talk about money and finance, and we'll talk about the process from contract to close. So that's everything that we're going to cover. And then the daily 10-4. I want to introduce you to the daily 10-4. Okay. So the daily 10-4 is this. We have 4 different things with 10 metrics to achieve: grow and manage your database, prospect for business, follow up with business, and know your market. So our expectation here, at a bare minimum through Ignite, is for you to add 10 new people into your database every day. Talk to 10 people in your database every day. Send out 10 notes, or I modify this a little bit. Send out 10 notes or 10 direct messages in social media every day. And then get to know your market by previewing 10 homes per week. Okay, 10 homes per week. So previewing traditionally would mean going into homes. You can do this online through the MLS. If you're not on the MLS yet, you can go to a real estate website and take a look and see, and just get familiar with looking at real estate. But the meat and potatoes is really the contacts. So talk to 10 people, 10 new people in your database, and then connect through a note card or social media. And the 10 can all be the same person, right? All the same people. So you can pick up the phone, call somebody in your database, then you could put them into command, that's adding them, and then you could send them a note card or a DM on social to thank them for chatting, right? So it can all be the same person for those 10, but that is your job. And frankly, this is your job for the rest of your career. You're going to do the daily 10-4 forever, right? The difference will be your database is going to be growing when you add new leads to it through your lead generation initiatives. Okay. Okay, good. Anyone have any questions about the daily 10-4?
I have some questions about the daily 10-4.
Let's hear it, TL Rob Ross.
I mean, it sounds easy, right? But imagine making 10 new contacts in your database every single day. That's 50 a week. That's 2,500 contacts a year. If you did nothing else but do these 10-4, it's almost impossible not to sell 20 houses a year.
On accident.
I think it's almost impossible. If you're putting 10 new people in your database on a drip campaign, you're talking to, you're sending 10 note cards out to people. like you're definitely going to get some business. It sounds ridiculous, but it's not as easy as it looks, right? Making 10 contacts, adding them to your database takes a little bit of time, but there's no reason why you couldn't crush 20 homes a year by talking to 10 people new in your database every day. It's very, very simple.
How much money would you make selling 20 homes a year?
You probably make $250,000.
$250,000, Rob? You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, no, $15,000 a home, 20 homes.
Yeah, that's exactly
Break
right.
in Gs minus a couple fees.
Yep. So, Rob's right on. Okay. It sounds easy. The reality is real estate is simple. It's not easy. This is the work, right? This is where you have to put in the work, make your contacts, because if you're not reaching out, you're not going to get anything back, right? You can't just be hoping that people are going to call you, right? Lead receiving will not lead to $250,000 in income per year or more. Active, outbound lead generation, just like Rob said, and it starts with your database. Now, don't get me wrong. We are going to talk about, generating business from other sources and building our databases even bigger, but it starts with this. It starts with this. So thank you for that, Rob. So basically, we're winding down here, okay? Make the most out of our Spark course. So after you have taken your Ignite class, after you have done your lead generation, then you can move on to the run your business side of things. And this is where you can spend time previewing homes. This is where you can read the MREA book. This is where you can watch courses on how to utilize Command, either on YouTube or within KW Connect. In fact, I'm going to put a few names in right now, the chat. I want you to go onto YouTube and follow these people on YouTube. They both have YouTube channels where they do a ton of Command training videos and show how to utilize and create best practices. These two people created a Facebook group for real estate agents that you should also all be on called Lab Coat Agents. Tristan is a mega agent in our region, up in the Westlake Village area. He sells over $100 million in real estate per year. He's a mega agent in the luxury market, and he's very tech savvy, and he provides a lot of resources for us. So go follow those two people on YouTube, and you can watch videos again at the end of the day after you do your lead gen. Okay, folks, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes. I want you to go to the last page of your manual where it says turn ahas into achievement. And I want you just to record and write down a couple of notes. What were your ahas? How has your thinking changed? And then what do you feel differently about, or what was meaningful for you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? And then what tools, models, or systems will you use, and how will they make you accountable? Okay, so I want you to take some notes here and just write a few things down. I'm going to share my screen on this page in case you don't have the manual, so you can take a look at what it is you're supposed to be writing. And so take 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to wrap the class up. So once we're done with that, we will ask for a few volunteers, and we'll be done today. CJ, if you can see in the chat, Tristan, Ayameda, Nick Baldwin, just copy those names down. All right, folks, couple minutes. How has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about today? What was meaningful for you? How will your behaviors be different? And what tools, models, or systems will you use? Okay. And don't overthink it, folks. Oops, okay. Killed the screen there, my bad. Couple minutes, write down your notes right here. How was your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful for you? How will your behaviors be different going forward? And what tools, models, or systems will you use? Okay, so you guys should all have something written down in each one of those. So I'd like for y'all to unmute yourself. Somebody share with me, how has your thinking changed? How has your thinking changed?
Nick, I'll begin.
Please.
The way that you've laid it out, it's fairly quantifiable. If you take these steps, you can fill in some of the metrics which are validated over time, and you can plot your course pretty accurately.
That's exactly right. You know, generally speaking, we roughly know conversion rates on the calls that you make, how many will turn into appointments, how many will have a real estate event in their life, and so on. So very much so, right? So we can create whatever profit goal you want. We can turn it into numbers, and then it's just all about doing the work. So yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Thank you for that, Craig. I appreciate it. Who wants to share what they wrote down for the second one? What do you feel differently about, or what was meaningful for you today? Don't be shy, folks.
I'll share.
Go for it.
My feelings towards people in my sphere that recently bought or sold. You know, it is good to continue to keep in touch with them, keep top of mind, because, you know, eventually they're going to have to buy or sell. Sure. And want to be right there on the top of their list of people.
That's right. That's right. I love that. And refer, right? And refer. Rob, what's your script when someone says, I'm never moving? You talk about being their family realtor.
Oh, I love that. They usually say they're going to die in the property. I'm never moving. I'm going to die here. It's like, dude, well, I mean, if I lived in this neighborhood, I mean, for the last 40 years, I'd probably die here too. This place is amazing. That's why we have so many buyers looking to move in here. But let me ask you this. Do you actually have a family realtor that you know, like, and trust to help you in the time of a death in the family, to help with your largest asset for your children? I mean, you've worked so hard for this. Why would you give it away?
Love
and the
that.
answer would be no. And it's like, great. I'd love to interview and sit down with you and the kids so that when you do obviously move, right, I could help you and your kids with this largest asset and like help prep them up for their financial future. Would that be fair? And then usually they say, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Easy, right? I mean, so again, remember, it's not just, this is what I know agents hear when we say, call your database. We tend to hear, call and see who needs to move right now. Yes, we're always looking for right now business, but we have to approach everybody as an opportunity for referrals and future business. So when we say call your database, we mean every human you know. And that's why the script is FORD, right? And it's not, do you need to sell a house or buy a house? Okay, so thank you for that, Rob. It's awesome. All right, next, number 3, how will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? Who wants to share what they wrote down for actions they plan to take? Don't be shy, folks. Who's next? How about Maritza? Are you there? I'm going to call it Maritza. This is where I start calling people out. You want to unmute yourself real quick and share with us how your behaviors will be different going forward? Camera shy, mute shy. Nope. Okay. How about Jennifer? You want to share with us?
Different going forward is just to go forward with everything, take action, and call and start calling my sphere and that's it pretty much.
Let's just do the work, right? I mean, that's the act. And you just started calling your sphere and you got 2 or 3 leads right away that at some level had expressed interest in either moving or what have you, right?
Yep.
It's right
That's
there.
right.
It's right in front of all of you guys. You just need to make the calls. All right. The last one here says tools, models, or systems that you'll use. I'm going to call on Alpha. Alpha, do you want to contribute for our last one here? What tools, models, systems will you use?
Hi, Nick. Obviously, for my sphere of influence, the Ford system, and then the command.
There you go. We looked at two incredible tools today. Ford, the dialogue. How easy is that, right? It's something you should commit to memory. And the conversation is very natural, and you're not just asking for business, you're investing into other people by seeing how they are. And then you've been exposed briefly to our command system. You got a little tiny taste on how to put a contact in. We are going to dig way deep into command and really explore all the utilization available to you. But don't delay. You can do that today after you make calls. Okay, when does the daily 10-4 start? Right after this. You guys should be on the phones, call in your database. You've got a goal to hit 10 contacts, and then get them into command, and then follow up with them either by mail or by social media or whatever tool you have available to you. Okay. All right, folks, it's 11:30. We're going to wrap for today, a little shorter of a class, and we'll be back on Thursday. I will be with you along with Eddie. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. We're off to a great start. Plug in, folks, engage, be a part of the group, come ready to participate. I understand if you don't want to put your camera on, but I do want to hear from you, okay, folks? So let's make it happen. Do your work. Come prepared to share some results when we meet again on Thursday. I'll be posting the material online on our social media groups, and we will have that to you ready to rock and roll, okay? Yes, Suhei, I saw your message. Give me a ring. Everybody else, I'll see you later. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.